Okay. First and foremost, we praise the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya. Like YAHSHALLA say Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Today we're going to go into some law, but we're going to do it a little different today. We're going to do law versus tradition. All right. We got like a lot of questions that people ask, so we're going to go through it and try to give some light on some questions that were posed to us. So let's start at Luke 24 and 24.
And it says, and certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre, and found it even as the woman had said. But him they saw not. Then he said unto them, O fools, and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things,
Right.
and to enter into his glory?
Right.
And beginning at Moses and all the prophets,
So where did he begin?
at Moses.
He began in the Torah. That's where Yeshaya or Yeshua or Jesus Christ began. When he started to teach these two men that were sad about what had happened. They were sad that Yeshua was crucified. Okay? And Yeshua met them on the road coming from the sepulchre, right? And so he wanted to teach them, or he taught them, beginning where?
Moses and the prophets.
Right. In the Torah and the prophets. Keep going.
And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scripture the things concerning himself.
Right. So that shows Moshiach and the prophets, the whole scripture speaks on what? Christ. Keep going.
And they drew nigh unto the village whither they went. And he made as though he would have gone further.
Right.
But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went to the inn to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed it,
Right.
and brake, and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight.
Right.
And they said one to another, Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us by the way, and while he opened to us the scriptures?
You see that? So what did it say? He opened the what?
The scriptures.
The scriptures. Right? For you to understand these scriptures, they have to be open to you. Right? The scriptures say, let him that readeth understand. Right? So you cannot have proselytes teaching the children of YAHSHALLA. You have to have one that has the spirit, where the hand of the Most High God is upon him, because these scriptures are not carnal, right? These scriptures are a spirit. And so the only way that you can understand these scriptures, the only way that you can break down these scriptures is by spirit. That's the only way. Go to John 7. John 7 and start at 16.
7 and 16.
So now we're just establishing what this is. All right? Go ahead. John 7.
Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine own, but his that sent me.
Read it again.
Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine own,
Right?
but his that sent me.
Yeshua said, my doctrine, meaning what he follows, the Torah, is not what?
Mine.
Mine. You see that? You see that? But whose was it? Or
But
whose is
his
it?
that sent him.
See that? It's the Most High's. This is the word of the Most High. These scriptures are the word of the Most High. You understand? So Yeshua was a good servant. He did the things that the Most High God did what? Told him to do. He said, my doctrine is not mine. Meaning he didn't come preaching a whole new, fabricated message of his own. He came speaking the words of the Most High God. Read it one more time.
Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me.
You see that? So if it was good enough for Yeshua to teach, right? Then it must be good enough for us to teach the same thing, right? Let's go to Matthew 23. Start at 1.
And it says, Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples.
Notice, Yeshua spake to the multitude and to his what?
Disciples.
Disciples, Sumash, right? Keep going.
Saying, The scribes and the Pharisees
The scribes and the Pharisees, keep going,
sit in Moses' seat.
sit in Moshe's seat, meaning what? They teach Torah. Keep going.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. Sorry.
Read it one more time.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe.
You see that? Yeshua said, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moshe's seat, meaning the scribes and the Pharisees teach law, teach Torah. You see that? They don't teach tradition. So he's speaking of certain scribes and certain Pharisees, right? Because some of the scribes and Pharisees taught tradition or lived by tradition. Of course, they lived by a little bit of law too, but they mixed a lot of elder tradition as well. You understand? We don't have anything to do with that. Read it one more time.
Okay, this is 3. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. So Yeshua said to who? As a matter of fact, start from the top.
Then spake Jesus to the multitude
Notice,
and to his disciples.
Again, Yeshua spoke to the multitude and his disciples. Keep going.
Saying, The scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
The scribes and Pharisees teach law, teach Torah, sit in Moshe's seat. Keep going.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you
All
observe.
therefore whatsoever they bid. Did he say half of it?
No.
Did he say 10 of them?
No.
He said, all therefore whatsoever they bid, what?
You observe.
You observe. What does it mean to observe? To do it. To keep it, right? Go to Mark. Go to Mark chapter 12 and start at 34. So right now we're just establishing how important the Torah is. Important. Go ahead.
And when Jesus saw that he answered discreetly, he said unto him, Thou art not far from the kingdom of the Most High.
You see that? That's whenever Yeshua was invited by one of the Pharisees to eat. Okay? And there was a scribe that was there during the feast that had asked him a question. And Yeshua answered the question. That was whenever he asked him, what is the first law in the Torah? Right? He asked him that, and Yeshua told him the first one and the second one, and told him that all of the Torah and the prophets hang on those 2 laws, right? And so then the scribe answered, and Yeshua said he saw that he answered it discreetly. And so he said what? Go ahead.
Discreetly. He said unto him, Thou art not far from the kingdom of the Most High.
Thou art not far from the Mamlaka Shel Shemaim. So he said, because of the way you answered, you are not far from the kingdom of the Most High God. And he was a scribe. You see what I'm saying? Because they knew Torah, they knew law, they kept the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High God. You see that? Okay, so what we've just done is established the fact that Torah is very important. You understand? Torah is very important. Now we're going to break down some of the questions that were given to us, and we're going to see, or hopefully, by us going through these questions, it'll bring a little bit of light on Torah and Brit Kadashaya, which is the New Testament and other things like that. So let's go to John 6 and 63.
Okay.
John 6 and 63.
And it says, It is the spirit that quickeneth, The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit.
You see that? Read it again.
It is the spirit that quickeneth.
It is the spirit that quickeneth. You see that? It's the spirit that makes you quick. Right? And of course, one can think, oh, so the spirit will make me fast. I mean, of course, but in this context, it's talking about quick. You can think quick, right? It's the spirit that gives you understanding. It's the spirit that gives you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's the spirit that leads you to all what? Emeth, truth. You see? Keep going.
The flesh profiteth nothing.
The flesh profiteth nothing. So the first thing, whenever you start to read the Torah, whenever you start to read the Naviim, the Ketuvim, right? The Apocrypha and the Besorah, right? The whole scripture, the Bible. This word is a spirit, is huah, right? Right? So you cannot break down spirit with carnal. It's impossible. All right? Read it one more time.
It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit.
Right.
And they are life.
And they are life. They are kava. Go to Ephesians 6 and 12. We're going to further establish the fact that it's not the body, it's not the carnal, it's not the physical. Go ahead.
For we wrestle not with flesh and blood.
We do what?
Wrestle not with flesh and blood.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood. Keep going.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world.
All right.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
You see that? So we don't wrestle with flesh. Okay? We don't wrestle with flesh. We wrestle with powers, wickedness, principalities. You understand? So if we don't wrestle with flesh, how in the world could we come out on top? How in the world could we be more than conquerors if we battle these spiritual beings with carnal, right? Or with carnality, right? We lose every time, right? But it's by the word of the Most High, which is spirit, right? Spirit battles spirit. Spirit doesn't battle flesh. You understand? Go to Romans 8 and start at 7.
And it says, because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High.
Well, you see that? The carnal mind is enmity, right, with the Most High, meaning it's against the Most High. Go ahead.
For it is not subject to the law of the Most High.
It is not subject to the Torah. The carnal mind is not subject to the Torah. So you cannot understand the Torah with a carnal mind. Go ahead.
Neither indeed can it be.
Neither indeed can it be. The carnal man will never please the Most High. Right? Because it sees everything what? With his fleshly eye, carnally. You see that? It's impossible. Read that one more time.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. For it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can it be.
Go to 8 too.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. You see that? We praise the Most High. We praise the Most High. Go to so now we're gonna start. Let me see. I jotted a few things down this time. So the first question we're gonna talk about. Go to Deuteronomy 23 and 2. Deuteronomy 23 and 2.
And it says, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
The Torah says a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Read it one more time.
A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
Right.
Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
Shall he not enter into the congregation of the Most High God. You see that? Let me do something. I'm going to go to Matthew 5, and I'm going to start at 17. It says, Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till Shemayim and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the Torah till all be fulfilled. You see that? So what does this mean? Read what you said again.
It says, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
So that means a bastard is not going to Shemayim. If you're a bastard, you're not going to Shemayim. That's what it means. Now, let's prove it, because the scriptures say that we must prove all things. Let's go to 1 John. Start at 2.
And verse 1?
Start at what is it? 1 John 2 and 23.
And it says, whosoever denieth the Son.
Hold on. It said, whosoever denieth Yeshua or denieth Yeshua. Good going.
The same hath not the Father.
The same hath not the Father. So what does that make him?
A bastard.
A bastard. You see that? Read it again.
Whosoever denieth the Son.
Whosoever denieth Christ. Keep going.
The same hath not the Father.
The same hath not the Hava. Keep going.
He that acknowledgeth the Son.
But he that acknowledgeth the Son
hath the Father also.
Hath the Father also. You got that? You see that? So read it one more time. Just one more time.
Whosoever denieth the Son, the same hath not the Father.
That's right.
He that acknowledgeth the Son hath the Father also.
So, plainly put, if you don't acknowledge Christ, you're a bastard. You're not going to Shemayim. Just as the Torah said. All right? Let's keep going. Okay. Now, go to Deuteronomy 23 and 3. Read 3 and 4.
Okay. And it says, an Amorite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
So what this is saying, praise the Most High. So what this is saying is, if you are an Amorite or a Moabite, you're not going to Shemayim. If you're an Amorite or a Moabite, you will not be entering in the gates of the city. You will not see New Jerusalem. You see that? Read it again.
An Amorite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High.
Right.
Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High forever.
Forever. Tell them why.
Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way.
You see that? So this is simply saying, the Torah is saying, if you are an Amorite or a Moabite, you're not going to go to Shemayim. The reason why, the reasons that the Torah gives is because they met us not. They met not YAHSHALLA in the way with bread, meaning food or water. You understand? So now, let's prove it. Go to Matthew 25 and start at verse 31.
And it says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him,
right,
then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations.
So before him shall be gathered all nations. So that means that the Amorites and the Moabites, right, are going to be there. You see that? The Amorites and the Moabites are going to be there, right, to sit before the judgment seat of the Amashiach. Now in the Torah, it says that if you're an Amorite or a Moabite, you will never enter in the congregation. Forever. You see that? Go ahead.
And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another.
So Ahaya is going to allow Yeshua or Yeshua to separate the nations. So we're going to find out who you are or what you are on that day. You see what I'm saying? Based upon the way the Most High God sees you. You see? Keep going.
As a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand.
Right?
And the goats on the left.
So, sheep's on the right, goats on the left. Keep going.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
So the sheeps are on the right hand. Those are the ones that are going to inherit Shemayim. Those are the ones that's going to inherit the Mamlaka Shemaim. All right? Those are the ones that have done what Ahaya said by Hashem Yeshaya. So they're going to be able to be with Christ. They're going to be able to be with the Most High. You see that? Keep going.
For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink.
Right.
I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
Right.
Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink?
Right.
When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren,
Right.
ye have done it unto me.
You see that? Keep going.
Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand.
So now we're talking to the nations that's on the left hand of the Amashiach. Okay? We've already established that the nations on the right, those are the sons of light. Those are the B'nai Ha-Elohim, right? Those are the Israelites on his right hand, right? Those are the Israelites indeed doing what the Most High said by Hashem Yeshaya, right? Now let's see what's going to happen on the left hand, right? What nation is this? Go ahead.
Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand,
Right?
Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
You see that? Yeshua said what?
Yeshua said, Depart from me,
Depart from me,
ye cursed, into everlasting fire.
ye cursed, into everlasting fire. You see that? Keep going.
For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink.
We praise the
I
high.
was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not.
Right?
Sick and in prison, and ye visited me not.
Right?
Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee?
Right?
Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me.
And as much as ye did not. You see that? So whenever we left Misraim or Egypt, right? And the Amorites and the Moabites, right? The nation of the Amorites and the Moabites did not meet us with bread, as the Torah says, right? They met not who with bread?
Christ.
Yeshua. You see that? That's proven. We praise the higher. What's the next question? Let's see. Go to Matthew 15.
What verse?
2.
And it says, Why do thy disciples transgress the traditions of the elders?
All right. So now we're going into the question of the washing of hands. All right. So a lot of misconception with this. Read it again. Matthew 15 and 2.
Why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread.
Right. Read it in Mark too. Go to Mark 7 and 5.
Okay. And it says, Then the Pharisees and scribes answered him, Why walk not thy disciples according to the traditions of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands?
But eat bread with unwashed hands. So those scribes and those Pharisees asked Yeshua, why don't your disciples, why don't your Sumash follow the traditions of the elders? Every time we sit down to eat, we eat not unless we wash our hands. Whenever we come from the marketplace, we don't set the table or eat anything unless we wash our hands. You see that? Mm-hmm. Now we're going to prove. We're going to see something. Because a lot of people, they feel like without understanding, right, there's a difference between law and tradition. You understand? Mm-hmm. It's a difference. Go to Leviticus 15. Watch this. We're going to show you why they did not wash their hands.
Verse what?
Go to 1. Start at 1.
And the Most High spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh,
right, because
of his issue he is unclean.
That's what it says. The Torah said, because of your issue, because of his issue, he is unclean. Read it again.
And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean.
Keep going.
And this shall be his uncleanliness in his issue.
And this shall be his uncleanliness in his issue. Okay, keep going.
Whether his flesh run with his issue.
Whether his flesh run with the issue. Whether you're cut open or something like that. Or what? Go ahead.
Or his flesh be stopped from his issue.
Or the flesh be stopped from his issue. Keep going.
It is his uncleanliness.
Keep going.
Every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean. And everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash their clothes. Shall wash his clothes. And bathe himself in water. And be unclean until the even. So
you see, it's when the issue connects with skin. You see? Go down to 11. Read 11 real quick.
It says, And whomsoever he toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water.
Have not rinsed his what?
Hands in water.
His hands. So this is when you wash your hands. Read it again.
And whomsoever he toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not washed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even.
And be unclean until even. So let's just give a little bit of practical understanding. Let's say you wake up in the morning, right? And you take a shower, right? Right after you take a shower, you should be clean. You should be clean, right? And let's say, mom or pop, they're making breakfast in the kitchen or whatever. You come down, right? You don't necessarily have to wash your hands again if you're already clean. You see what I'm saying? But let's say on the way down the steps, you sneeze into your hand. That means your issue or an issue has hit your skin, has hit your hands. So you should wash your hands, right? If you cut your hand on the way down, if the baby has snot coming out of his nose, and or if the baby spit up and it gets on your hands, then you should most definitely wash your hands with water. You understand what I'm saying? Right? We have no law in Israel that says we have to wash our hands several times a day. You understand? That's foolishness. That's foolishness. That's law versus tradition. You understand? The law makes sense. It makes perfect sense. If there's some type of issue on your hands, some type of issue on your clothes, you should change your clothes and go wash your clothes. If someone is bleeding and they rub up against your shirt, go change your shirt. Right? If someone gives you a child and a child spits up on your shirt, go change your shirt. Right? If you don't have another shirt to change into, at least wash it off. You see what I'm saying? Period, point blank. All right. Let's go to what's the next one? The woman taken in adultery. This is a big one. It's a lot of misconception with this. Go to John 8:1. John 8:1.
Okay. And it says, Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery.
Notice, the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman taken in adultery. You see that? Keep going.
And when they had set her in the midst.
And when they had set who in the midst?
Her.
Her. Single. See? Keep going.
They say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act.
They said, Rabbi, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Right? So they saying they caught the woman. Right? They caught the woman in the act of adultery. Right? Keep going.
Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned.
Now Moshe in the Torah commands us that such, anyone that does this, should be stoned. Keep going.
But what sayest thou?
But what sayest thou? Keep going.
This they said, tempting him.
Notice it says, this they said, tempting him. So the very fact that they brought this woman to Yeshua was what?
Tempting.
No. Think about it. Let the Ruach HaKodesh lead you. They said it tempting him. So the very fact that they brought this woman to Yeshua was what? Evil and wrong.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to prove it. Keep going.
And it says, this they said tempting him, that they might have to accuse him.
So they were not doing this to rid Israel of whores, right? The scriptures say if anyone hath an issue in YAHSHALLA, right, get them out of Israel, right? They were doing this just to have somewhat to accuse Yeshua, to say, oh, he's not keeping the Torah, right? Right? Keep reading.
But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not.
Right? Keep going.
So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her.
He said, he who is without ytokqa, let him cast the first kepha, right, at her, at this woman, right? Keep going.
And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Jesus was left alone,
right,
and the woman standing in the midst.
So Yeshua and the woman was left alone. Keep going.
When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers?
Right. So Yeshua said, where are those thine accusers? The people that accuse you of this act. Where are they? Right. Keep going.
Hath no man condemned thee?
Hath no man condemned thee? Keep going.
She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee.
Neither do I condemn thee. You see that? Now, the thought by a lot of people is that Yeshua just forgave her of her sin, and that he was full of compassion and he just didn't want them to stone her and all that, right? No, absolutely not. Of course, Yeshua loved her, but the scriptures say that the Most High God sent Yeshua to do his will. You see that? It's in Yeshua's heart to do the will of the Most High God. You see that? To follow the Torah. You see that? So now let's see and let's prove and show why Yeshua did not allow those people to stone her. All right? Go to John 5. Start at 45.
John 5.
Start at 45.
And it says, do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. It said
what? Hold on. Whoa. Say it again. Read it again.
It says, do not think that I will accuse you to the Father.
Yeshua said, do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. You see that? Mm-hmm. So Yeshua is not going to accuse you. You see that? Mm-hmm. Yeshua is not going to accuse you. Yeshua is going to keep the Torah, but he's not going to accuse you. Keep going.
There is one that accuses you.
There is one that accuses you. Mm-hmm. There is one that accuses you. Mm-hmm. Who is that one? Go ahead.
Even Moses, in whom you trust.
Even Moshiach, in whom you trust. The Torah accuses you. You see that? Mm-hmm. Because the Torah shows you what sin is. You see that? Mm-hmm. The Torah shows you what sin is. The Torah shows you what sin is, and the Torah shows you what the recompense for each sin is. Read that one more time.
It says, do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. Mm-hmm. There is one that accuseth you, mm-hmm. even Moses, in whom you trust.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
For had ye believed Moses.
For had ye believed Moshiach, if you would have kept the Torah, keep going.
Ye would have believed me.
Ye would believe Yeshua. Keep going.
For he wrote of me.
For he wrote of Christ. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if ye believe not his writings, mm-hmm. how should you believe my words?
You see that? So Yeshua said this, I'm not going to accuse you. There's one that accuseth you. That's Moshiach. So he just told you, I can't accuse you. I'm not going to accuse you. That's not his seat. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's not his seat. Right? Mm-hmm. That's Moses' seat. Moses did that. That's what the Torah does. The Torah is the one that accuses. Now, go to Leviticus and let's prove it. Go to Leviticus 20 and 10.
Okay.
Watch this. We deal with truth in YAHSHALLA in Israel. We deal with truth and nothing but the truth. We have to serve the Most High with what? Our whole what? Heart. We can't do it halfway. Go ahead.
And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife.
You see that? And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife. Keep going.
Even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife.
Even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife.
The adulterer.
The adulterer.
And the adulteress.
And the adulterist.
Shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. How many people did the scribes and Pharisees bring to Yeshua? One person. So if they would have stoned the lady, would they be breaking the Torah?
Yes.
Absolutely. The reason why Yeshua did what he did was not because he was full of compassion and he forgave the lady. No. The Most High God hates sinners. And the Most High God and Yeshua is one and the same. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. If they would have brought the adulterer and the adulteress, they both would have got stoned. You understand? Mm-hmm. They both would have got stoned. Because that's what the Torah says. Be reminded that the Most High God sent Yeshua to do his will. It was in his heart to do the will of the Most High God. You see that? Mm-hmm. You see that? Mm-hmm. Not to break the Torah. That would have been breaking the Torah. If Yeshua would have said, stone this woman, that would have been a sin. You understand? That would have been a sin. And notice, the people said that trying to tempt Yeshua, to have somewhat to what? Accuse him. Mm-hmm. They weren't doing that with the spirit of the Most High. Mm-hmm. They weren't trying to rid YAHSHALLA of whoredom. Mm-hmm. They wanted somewhat to accuse Yeshua. They was trying to find anything. They was breaking the Torah by bringing the woman to Yeshua. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to bring the woman and the man. Mm-hmm. You see that? Mm-hmm. We praise the higher. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to head and the tail. The head and the tail. Oh my goodness. Go to Devarim 28 and 13. The head and the tail. So a lot of so-called pastors, preachers, teachers, they say, well, the Most High God is going to make you the head and not the tail. You're going to be the lender and not the borrower. Right? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Not knowing what the head and the tail is. See? Go ahead. Devarim 28 and start at 13.
It says, and the Most High shall make thee the head and not the tail.
The Most High shall make thee the head and not the tail. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt be above only.
And we shall be above only. Keep going.
And thou shalt not be beneath.
And we shall not be beneath. Keep going.
If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Most High thy God.
If we hearken unto the mitzvot of Ahaya.
Which I command thee this day to observe and to do them.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I teach thee this day.
You see that? So we cannot go aside from any of the words that was taught us at Horeb. Mm-hmm. Right? We have to keep all of the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High God. Go to 28 and 44. Devarim 28 and 44.
Okay. And it says, he shall lend.
As a matter of fact, start at 42.
Okay. It says, all thy trees and fruits of thy land shall the locust consume.
So now we're going into the curses, okay? These are the curses. If the Most High God set before us life and death, this is the death, these are the curses. And so now we're going to prove how or what the head and the tail is within the curses. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. The stranger that is within thee shall get up.
The stranger that is within thee. The stranger being our oppressor, right? Mm-hmm. The Egyptian, or of course in our time, the devil, the so-called white man. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, keep going.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Right. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high. Keep going.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And we would come down very low if we did not observe the statutes, the laws, and the commandments of the Most High God. Keep going.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
He shall lend to us, and we shall not lend to him. Keep going.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Notice something. The lending and the borrowing is something alone by itself. Being the head and the tail is something alone by itself. You see that? Mm-hmm. Read that one more time.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
All right.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
So he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Go to Isaiah 9 and 14. Watch this. Isaiah 9 and 14.
Mm-hmm. And it says, therefore the Most High will cut off.
Go to start at 12, 9 and 12.
Okay. The Syrians before and the
Go to 13.
For the people turneth not unto him that smitteth him, that smitteth them. Mm-hmm. Neither do they seek the Most High of hosts.
Right.
Therefore the Most High will cut off from Israel head and tail.
Whoa. Read that one more time.
Therefore the Most High will cut off from Israel head and tail.
Read 13 again. Watch this.
For the people turneth not unto him that smitteth them, neither do they seek the Most High of hosts.
So they don't seek the Most High of hosts. They don't seek Ahaya Shabbaoth. So what's going to happen?
Therefore the Most High will cut off from Israel head and tail.
Keep going.
Branch and rush.
Branch and rush. Keep going.
In one day.
In one day. Keep going.
The ancient and
keep going. Keep going.
The ancient and honorable.
The ancient and honorable.
He is the head.
He is the head. The ancient and the honorable. He is the head. Keep going.
And the prophet that teacheth lies.
And the prophet that teacheth lies.
He is the tail.
He is the tail. You see that? Being the head and the tail don't have nothing to do with money. It don't have nothing to do with lending people money. Read it one more time.
It says, the ancient and honorable, he is the head.
The ancient and the honorable, he is the head. Keep going.
And the prophet that teacheth lies.
And the prophet, the nav, that lamiteth lies, right? Is what?
He is the tail.
He is the tail. You see that? We praise the Most High. I hope that the information that was brought forth helps someone. We tried to get to a lot of them. We didn't get to all of them, but you know, if anybody has any questions, you can email us, inbox us, whatever, and we'll try to get to it. But we praise the Most High.